So today we'll be explicitly talking about the first law of thermodynamics. That is nothing but again the conservation of total energy. It means if we talk in terms of quantity, one form of energy can either be transformed from another form. That's all can happen if we terms in terms of quantity. But overall energy or the total energy will remain constant in any process or anywhere. Okay, that is what first law tells. So far, we have not made any attempt to relate the heat transfer to the work that is happening in a process during process. So first law also looks into this. We are going to relate uh, Q to W in the due slides. And again, every bit of energy should be accounted during a process. This is obvious with this statement, conservation of energy. So let's look a few of the examples, such as let's suppose I have a system as a potato, and uh, let's suppose there are some uh, heat that has been flown through the boundary, which is 5 kilojoules. So what will happen? The potato will face a change in energy. Okay, okay. One thing I also should have pointed out: all the analysis we would be doing in the framework of change only. We are not going to look into the absolute form of. Okay, we are not going to talk about absolutely what's happening. We are always going to talk about what is the change that is occurring in the process. So here, the change in the internal energy or change in the total energy, uh, to be precise, total energy in this particular potato would be 5 kilojoule, because since nothing is going out, let's suppose, then it should happen. In another case, if I talk about if there is heat is flown inside the system through this boundary, let's suppose 15 kilojoules, and heat that is coming out, it may also happen that the system may uh, produce some amount of heat, or the heat may exit from the system, that is 3 kilojoules. So the net amount of the net amount that heat has been transferred to the system is the out minus in minus out. Okay, Q in minus out, that is what our convention was. Q in would be positive. Okay, so that is 12 kilojoule, and that will be responsible for change in the and total energy of the system. Change in this keyword should also be keep in mind. You should keep in mind change in total energy. Okay, so here, okay, the next example we could take, we can take an adiabatic enclosure, piston cylinder arrangement here. So the piston is doing work on the system, okay, by pushing it through some distance, and we have calculated that work done by this piston in was 10 kilojoules, let's suppose. So again, in this adiabatic system, since this is adiabatic, no heat transfer Q out was seen here. Then the total change in total energy change would suffice to be 10 kilojoules. Okay. In similar fashion, since this is a piston work we talked about here, it's an electrical work that is happening here through the battery, because electrons are flowing into the system. And let's suppose the work in was 5 kilojoules. So again, the change would be. So there are several examples you can talk about. In another example, there is a shaft that is rotating, uh, and it may so this shaft, the energy of this shaft I mean, the work due to this shaft was 10 kilojoules. Sorry, 8 kilojoules, and since the system is adiabatic, so this directly takes into account of the increase in total energy of the inside system. So all those things can be seen uh, through the first law of thermodynamics. Then I mean, that can be formula can be given that the net change in total change in an internal energy is, in some sense, in some generic sense, I can right away write that the change in, so the heat that is being inputted, or the change what is happening, plus the work done, in some generic sense. Okay, we'll talk about more here in generic sense. So what this tells that the change in total energy of the system must be equal to the total energy entering into the system minus the total energy leaving the system. Why I'm telling generic here, the word generic here is, it also applies for any system, whether it is a closed system or open system. Okay, it could be anything. So if in generic sense, your total change in energy of the system, so that is we account for E in minus E out, will be equal to whatever the heat that has been in minus heat that is leaving out, work that has been inputted in, work that has been inputted out, and this is the term which is exclusively for the open system. So for the time being, since the moment we are talking about the closed system, this thing will be dropped out, will not be here, because mass will, I mean, in a closed system, I'm sorry, this is for open system, will be there, and for closed system it will be 0. Since there are no mass interaction with the system boundary. And this E mass we'll talk about later. What this E masses will be, it will have some, I mean, if you have some mass of fluid or air, so it possesses some sort of an internal energy with it intrinsically. Not only this, we'll also talk about in the open system in later chapters, that it also includes some sort of, there is one more keyword we'll be using widely or more frequently in open system, that is called enthalpy. And so far we have not talked about enthalpy of the system. So that is much more of our concern when we talk about the open system. But we'll not, right now we will not talk about, but just to have a feel of what we are going to read in future, that is enthalpy we will be talking more frequently if we're talking about the open system. So enthalpy is nothing but the internal enthalpy is a, you can say it's a artificial way of looking at the energies. So it's a modified form of U plus PV is the way we define, okay, internal energy along with the flow work, internal energy plus flow work. So the summation of internal energy of the system and the flow work, uh, collectively we call it as new sort of modified way of telling it, we call it as enthalpy of the system. And we will look into why this is important in talking open systems, because it actually consists of internal energy and some sort of flow work here. But here flow work is not happening, since we'll talk about in this particular chapter closed systems. So we'll be mostly concerned in this chapter with this formula here. So the change in total energy of the system is basically Q in minus Q out plus W in minus W out. Okay, one more thing here, this E in minus E out, the total energy change. So the total energy of any system will constitute total internal energy, that is explicitly we will denote it with U alphabet, plus kinetic energy plus potential energy. That would be the total energy. But for the time being, for stationary systems, what they tell that stationary systems, the kinetic energy and the potential energy, the sum would be 0. So this would be again be striked out. So basically, the internal energy will now be related with Q in and Q out and W in and W out in this fashion. So basically, we will tell that instead of dE, so for D change in energy is nothing but du for stationary system we'll talk about is equal to delta Q plus delta W. And this is what for thermodynamic analysis in this chapter we will talk frequently this formula only. You might have come across this formula in your 12th also. So this is how it has been derived, with lots of assumptions and lots of modifications and lots of parameters that are governing. So all these things are 0, and for this is only valid for stationary systems, and for closed systems, closed stationary system, you could say more precisely, this formula is valid. Otherwise, if all the things are there, you should have taken the whole thing. Okay, right? Any problem so far? Om?
No, sir.
Okay. So let's take one quick example. So you guys also take paper and pen and just try out this example, particular example. This is a very simple example, just to try out what we have done in our last slide. A rigid tank contains a hot fluid that is cooled while being stirred by a paddle wheel. So this wheel is continuously working upon this particular system. So there is a shaft work that is happening. Initially, the internal energy of the fluid is 800 kilojoules. It is given initial internal energy of the system is 800 kilojoules. During the cooling process, the fluid loses 50 kilojoules of heat. So the Q out that is given is 500 kilojoules of heat, and the paddle wheel does 100 kilojoules of work on the fluid. Determine the final internal energy of the fluid. Neglect the energy stored in the paddle wheel. This is again a critical statement. Neglect the energy stored in the system. This also you should be aware of. If this would not have happened, we should also have to consider whatever the energy that is the system is consuming. Let's suppose for an example, I'm giving some energy to the system E1, and something is coming out E2 in some form, and if some sort of energy this system itself is collecting, so you need to consider this energy also, right? You cannot write E1 is equal to E2. You cannot write here. So here you have to write E1 plus, so let's suppose E3 amount of energy it is consuming. So E1 plus E3 is equal to E2. So whatever, basically E2 minus E1 is whatever the system is having. Okay. So then since the energy stored is 0, so this thing will be 0. So you can actually try this out. Again, you can use the
400.
Fine. Who is that?
Ohm.
Okay, Om. Apart from Om, I want to ask for a few other guys. So Abhishek Kumar, can you try this? This is a very basic question I am asking. Abhishek Kumar, can you try this out?
Yes, sir. 1 minute, sir.
Okay, fine.
Sir, can I show the question?
I will pose it. Maybe I can ask one more guy, and you both will be doing the same thing. Gaurav Jain and Abhishek Kumar. Both should try this question in front of me.
Sir,
Ah.
U2 is 400 kilojoules.
Okay, thank you. So Abhishek Kumar has come up with 400 kilojoules. And Gaurav Jan, is this correct?
So 1 minute.
Uh-huh.
So 1 minute. Yes, sir. 400 joule.
Okay, so can you elaborate, Gaurav Jan? Can you elaborate how it has come? So what formula you have used or what you have done here?
Yes, sir. 1 minute. So first we use E in minus E out is equal to E delta E system.
Huh?
WSH minus Q out is equal to delta Q is equal to U2 minus U1.
Okay.
WSH is 100. The Q out is minus 500. And U2 is we have to find, and U2 minus 8. From this formula you get U2 is equal to 400 kilojoule.
Okay, good. So the change in total energy would be E in minus E out. So E in is basically what are the energies that is being. So Q in minus Q out, I told. Minus W in minus W out. That is what we told. That should be the change in total energy, and this total energy can be written as change in internal energy plus change in kinetic energy plus change in potential energy, right? I can write it here. Change in internal energy plus change in kinetic energy plus change in potential energy. So in exam, what I would like you guys to write, not just arrive at the answers, but you should know the steps. On what step what you are choosing. So you should just tell that, assume, or it's given, obviously it's a closed system. So this is the way you should write, assuming this is a closed system, and then you can write this formula. And for if it is not a closed system, this formula, okay, but this formula is more generic, but this formula would not be there. Okay, some mass terms, energy due to mass will come into picture, in minus out. Okay, so this goes 0 because this is a closed system. And then again you could write that total change in energy is the total change in internal energy, kinetic energy, and potential energy. And then you will tell that since my system is stationary, and then you can strike this out, and then you can write change in internal energy is equal to in is this Q in 0, this is out, is minus 500 kilojoule plus W in is 100 minus W out is 0. Change in internal energy is equal to U2 minus U1 is equal to minus 40 kilojoules, and U2 it is asking, so U1 is given.
Sorry,
So
400.
Minus 800 is equal to 400, sorry, minus 400. So U2 you can write, sorry, U2 you can write, this is 400 kilojoules. Okay, so system has gone. So what do you infer with this particular process? System is getting cooled. Okay, it means whatever the work that is going in is lesser than what is going out, and it is obvious also in nature. Okay, fine. Okay, next thing what I can write is I can actually write for power also, in terms of power also. Power is what? The change in energy with respect to time. That is what, that is power. We can always calculate those things, and the unit of power is in kilowatts. Okay, so now I can throughout I can what I can do, I can differentiate this particular equation, or to be precise, for closed and stationary systems, this particular system with time. So rate of change of now we'll talk in terms of rate of change in internal energies, kinetic energy and potential energies are now equal to the rate of net energy transfer by heat, work and mass. Okay, so this is how you are going to tell in terms of rate of energy change or power. With this implication, we will take up one example. We'll take up one question here. Let's suppose a fan that consumes 20 watt of electric power when operating is claimed to discharge air from a ventilated room at a rate of 0.25 kilograms per second at a discharge velocity of 8 meter per second. Determine if this claim is reasonable. Okay, so who can tell me this? Who can try this out? Okay, you all should try this out, and let me call out one or two names. Karm Patel and Neil Patel. You both can try and let me know if this claim is reasonable or not. So what this claim is, fan is consuming 20 watts of electric power and it is throwing air velocity of 8 meter per second at a mass flow rate of 0.2 kilograms per second. So is this a reasonable claim or not? How would you proceed? So Neil Patel and Jeet Patel. I told Jeet Patel, right? Or Karm Patel?
Hello. Yes, sir.
Karm Patel. So how would you proceed?
Karma Patel, sir.
Karm Patel. Karm Patel and.
Hello.
Tell me. Am I audible?
I missed the question.
Tell me.
I missed the question you said.
Oh, question. Okay. The question is this. So I'm taking a lot of numerical questions so that it will give you a feel of how the real problems you would tackle. How should you tackle a real numerical problems in your exams and your in day to day in real life? So concept wise theory is okay unless and until you apply the theory in numericals. I mean, you won't get the confidence. That is what my perception. Since when I was doing my engineering, I also feel that, I mean, making numericals, I mean, in large quantities will give you confidence. And I also suggest that you please follow this particular book, Sengel and Boyles, line by line. I mean, you should read it. Actually. This book is so self-explanatory. Okay.
So it's not reasonable.
Okay, why is it so? So you are on mobile or you are on laptop?
But I'm on mobile.
Okay, so can you put on your camera on your notes? I want to see that.
Yes.
Okay. So what calculations you have made? And you can talk also.
Okay.
And Neil Patel didn't respond.
Yes, sir. I did not get it. So.
Oh, you did not get it. You. Okay. This is your question. The same question I'm asking, and you both can show me your calculations. So from now onwards, I want to see your calculations as well. On your mobile, it will be easy for you to show me at least your copy and what rough you have done. Just a slight rough work would give me enough feel that you guys have are confident enough.
Sir, I'm on laptop. So how would I send?
चलेगा, आप बोल सकते हैं. तो पहले
सर,
मोबाइल जिनके पास, एक मिनट, जिनके पास मोबाइल है पहले वो दिखा सकते हैं तो दिखा दें, बाकी लोग के लिए भी सही रहेगा. It's not visible actually.
Okay, sir.
You're shaking too much. Oh. Okay, so okay, you can tell. I mean, it's not visible actually.
Yes,
That
sir.
was a bad experiment from my side. Okay, anyways, you can talk, Karan
Yes,
Patel. So,
yeah.
firstly, what you have done?
Yes, sir. Means in one side, means I have taken 20-watt power and mass rate, and then and I have taken the kinetic potential of dE by dt. That's
Kinetic
20 watt.
potential.
Yes,
What?
kinetic and potential. It's 20 watt, and the heat and mass E in minus E out. So,
Okay.
so by that, half mv square I've done equals to 20 watt. So half into it's 0.25 into
But
8.
this is not mass. This is rate. This is rate. That is what
Yeah.
I told you. This is not mass. This is
Okay.
dm by dt.
Okay.
This is
Yes.
dm by dt. This is not mass.
Mass per
kg
yes.
per second. It's given. Anybody else?
Sir, shall I try?
Who is this?
Sir, Daivat.
ठीक है. You can
Sir,
try.
can I?
You can show me also. Okay.
Sir, actually, I will explain. Sir, sir, the power input, electrical power input of the fan is given as 20 watts. That is 20 joule per second.
Thank you.
So, sir, the input power is known to us. Now we need to calculate the output power in terms of the airflow rate. So the amount of the mass per second, which is given thrust by the fan, it is 0.25. So it is 8. Sorry, sir, it is 8. Sorry, sir. It is 0.25 is the mass per second and velocity is 8 meter per second. So, sir, we will calculate the energy of the particular mass concentrating on the mass displaced by it in 1 second. It's 0.25 kilogram. So the energy will be given as half mv square, that is 1 by 2, 0.25 into 8 square. So it turns out to be 8. Sir, so sir, it is 8 joule per second.
Okay.
And the input is 20 joule per second. So, sir, we can state that it is correct because probably 12 joules of energy would be wasted in terms of friction, then another air resistance, and even due to other factors such as the temperature and outside pressure of the room, since it is a ventilated room.
Okay, good. Let me do the calculations in front of you guys also, or anybody can also comment. Can anybody want?
Sir, it is correct.
We are just calculating energy. We are just simply calculating energy, that m dot into v square by 2. Just we are using this formula, and from that formula we are matching that 20 volt. If it is not matching, then it is not reasonable, because it is claiming that 20 watt is the output.
Okay.
But we are not getting that output.
Okay.
But sir, it is coming out to be 8 watts, sir. So that is reasonable only because it is not consuming 20. So it is consuming less.
Yes.
So
technically,
the values we are getting should be lesser than the input, that is 20.
Yes, sir. It should be less than or equal to 20, right?
Okay. Let me do the calculations. So first of all, in exams, or I would appreciate that you start first. What you should do? You should make the system boundary first, right? Or control volume. That is what I would love to see that from you guys, because so पहले मुझे क्या करना है, एक सिस्टम बना देना. I'll tell that this is my control volume, पूरे फैन को इनकॉर्पोरेट करते हुए. ओके, now I'll tell that this fan एक वायर गया होगा यहाँ पे, और this fan has some energy consumption E in dot, and which is given in form of, it consumes 20 watt of electrical power. It is already given. E dot is given. So this is 20 watt has already been given. So this is in, and let's suppose for ideal case, what will happen? Sorry.
E in minus E out is equal to 0. That is E in is equal to E out.
So basically, what ideally I tell that there is no consumption of this fan or any shaft that is moving or friction. There is no consumption, but ideally it won't. Okay, but for the time being, let's suppose that dE by dt, the change in internal for a steady state, the rate of change would be 0 for the time being. Let's suppose. So this goes away, and this is your the power that you would get. The power you would get is how much power? So then, since the energy I'm getting is mv square by 2, so the power I would get is this by dt. Okay, see, v is constant, so m dot v square by 2 would be the actual power that is coming out. Okay, so m dot v square by 2, what is this thing? .25 times 8 into 8 divided by 2. Can somebody tell? So 8 watts.
Yes, sir.
8 watts is coming out, and 20 watts you are. It is consuming 20 watts. So it is a fairly reasonable claim. You would expect that 12 watts of energy might be consumed due to its friction or its all other things, right? It is fairly.
Sir, I think this claim, sir, is there some standard, like if a device is consuming this much of power, then standardly it should deliver this much of, like in this case there is a fan, so it should give that much of air, or I mean, like
okay,
that. Is there some standardization?
Yeah, we can talk in terms of efficiency. So let's talk about
efficiency, exactly.
Some sort of inefficiency here. Let's talk about in this sense. So efficiency, the what is my output? So that is 8 watts.
So 8 by 20.
20. So what is this? I mean, कितना हो जाएगा लगभग? Can somebody tell me quickly?
40%.
40%.
40% is still a higher claim. What I would say, this should not be more than 20% or so. This is very higher side. So in some sense we are doing some mistake, or maybe we can do this calculation in other way around. What we can do is we can actually calculate V out here from this energy, whatever I am getting. So 20 watt is equal to m dot V out. Actually we can calculate, and let's suppose now what V out I am getting. So 2 times 20 time divided by 2.5. So what is this value? Can somebody tell me?
Under root 160.
Under root 160.
So how much?
2 root 10. 4 root 10, sir.
Okay, I did a mistake, or maybe. Okay, हाँ कितना final value बताइएगा? 2 root 10 कितना होता है?
4 root 10.
4 root 10. Exact value बताइए. No, I want some irrational value, not this root.
Just a second.
So 4 या 12. Probably, I mean 4 times 3.14 something, if I'm not wrong. 12 or 13.
12.64. 12.64.
है ना? So and discharge air velocity is 8 meters only.
Sir, actually, this can be a subjectable question.
No, this is a reasonable claim probably, because in the Cengel, it is this particular mass flow rate is 1 kilogram per second. If you do the calculations for this particular case, and then you would find that it is unreasonable. You can actually try that out. Okay, right away. Instead of this,
sir, certainly, as you said that the efficiency that we are getting is quite high, that is 40%. But sir, we can even explain it in a way that since the room is ventilated, so sir, in a ventilated room there is always a duct or a pipe which makes the inflow of air inside the room. So due to that, there can also be an additional velocity added to the air. So sir, maybe because of that we are getting 8 meters per second. Otherwise, the original velocity of the air due to fan could be lesser than that also. So that in that case, we could get the efficiency around 30 to 20%.
Okay, but we can say it's reasonable claim.
Yes, sir.
We can actually say that. I mean, it's not violating my. So the purpose is whether it is violating my first law of thermodynamics or not. So it's not violating. No. So whatever coming in. At maximum it should come out, but we know that nothing can come out. 20 watts cannot come out, but yeah, it's fairly, it's 8 watt is fairly okay. Fine, it's reasonable only, it's not violating. But
but isn't a subjective question like in the exam?
Again subjective, but in examination I would not cut your marks, since the only thing I want you guys to be aware that energy should not be violated. So that is what it is happening, and it is reasonable enough. Okay. Fine.
So sir, in real life cases, the efficiency of machines is not even more than 20%.
That is what I was more concerned about. But let's see. I mean, yes, ideally we can say new fan leke aaye, let's suppose it can run, it can give some good efficiency because it is more greased and it's quite efficient. Let's see.
That 20% of what?
But still 20% is still high. The things are not in that range.
Sir, sir, velocity बढ़ेगी air की तो mass rate भी ज़्यादा हो जाएगा ना?
Velocity, but वो बात की, that is we are not considering fluid mechanics here right now. So actually this would be a very complex problem. This would constitute fluid mechanics problem and electrical problem and all, but we are not focusing on fluid mechanics problem. We just fix our things to make our claims easier in this particular course. We should be concerned about energy conservation only currently. We are not talking about fluid mechanics here, but it would be another complex thing if we incorporate fluid mechanics here itself. So we'll not go into that part. And to answer your question, we can't say actually. Okay.
Sir, वैसे तो velocity flow बढ़ेगी तो mass तो ज़्यादा.
But depend. But we claim that, I mean, fan would be designed for a particular mass flow rate, or working on particular mass flow rate. So at that particular mass flow rate, with that blade arrangements, it can have certain velocity, fixed velocity, constant velocity. Okay, we'll have, unless until we should change some fluid parameters from its behind or something. Otherwise, it would be constant. Okay. So the next thing, quickly we can. I will take 5 or 10 minutes more. We have already talked about the process that is happening in cycle, which is often seen can be seen in your engines. Your engines work on cycle. Okay, you have a piston cylinder arrangement. You have a connecting rod crankshaft here, and this guy rotates, and because of this rotation, this piston goes to and fro, and which actually compresses So there is a fuel inlet, it burns, it goes out, and which actually gives you a shaft work out of it in cycle. So basically, if you go from let's suppose one state, you go somewhere in your PV diagram probably. So 1 to 2 it goes, and then some adiabatic process, then isentropic, then again adiabatic, then isentropic compression, and it goes come back again to 3, 4, and 5. Not it 5 and 1 are same. So basically, it goes keep on cycling a particular state all the time. Okay, so why it is important, why we should be concerned about the cyclic process. The beauty of this cycle process is, here comes your cycle. What I claimed yesterday, that if your state is same, if you reach at the same state, your change in internal energy of the system for a cycle goes out to be 0. Why change would be 0? Why? Because u1 is equal to u2, because you are at the same state. Okay, it doesn't matter from where you are coming, where you are going on a PV plot. Okay, we'll talk more details in when our chapter comes, but right now you should just appreciate the beauty of this cyclic process. So whenever I tell that in cyclic process du is 0, this formula, what I told, du is equal to dw plus dq. So basically this 2 is equal to 0. So basically this w and this q. So whatever q you will give into the system, and this q is the heat, and heat is a low grade energy, you will actually get the high grade energy in some sense. That is the beauty. Whatever the generally heat is meant to, I mean, heat are unorganized form of energy, and work is basically organized form of energy. So that is the beauty. You are getting things out of from unorganized energy to get the high organized form of energy. Basically, some sort of productive work you are getting. You are getting some actions. Okay, from this work you can actually rotate your engine, you can rotate your wheels, and you can comfortably go from one place to the other place. Okay, so this is very beautiful thing if your state is same, and if you are considering a cyclic process. So we'll talk about later, but for the time being, just keep in mind this thing. Okay. Last question. We should take this last question, and we have already promised that I'll take up this question. That you are actually rotating a fan, and which is consuming work, some sort of power, electric power, and whether your in generic sense, whether your temperature of your room is going to increase or not. So let's suppose the question is an open-ended question for you guys. A room is initially at indoor temperature of 25 degrees C. So initial temperature was 25 degrees C. Now a large fan that consumes 200 watts of electricity when running is turned on. Okay, so if the system actually consumes from outside, let's suppose this is my system. First of all, any question, I want you guys to actually show me the boundary of the system first. Unless otherwise you draw a boundary, I will not give you marks on this particular thing. This is so important. Always draw control volume or system. What is your system? Whether you are considering the whole room as a system or this fan as a system, that would again change your analysis. Okay, so here I will draw my system as a whole room is my system, and this W in is going inside. And what else? The heat transfer rate between the room and the outdoor air is given as Q dot is equal to UA. Okay, this you guys would not be knowing that, because this is a matter of next semester course, that is we call it as heat transfer course. We will actually read this formula. This is basically a formula for convective heat transfer. Convective heat transfer. This is a mode of heat transfer that is occurring here. So convection heat transfer or convective heat transfer that is happening. And in this convective heat transfer, basically your heat transfer rate is equal to this is called overall heat transfer coefficient. This is a constant overall heat transfer coefficient. I mean, currently you should not be concerned about this formula, but just to calculate this Q dot, you need this formula, and this comes from the another subject. So just to guys, make you aware that where this formula comes from. So this heat transfer rate that would occur in a convective heat transfer phenomena is overall heat transfer coefficient, that is a constant for a particular flow situation or a thermal situation, times the overall area times the temperature, inside temperature minus outside temperature, or the surface temperature minus the ambient temperature. That is how we write. And this U is given as 6 watt per meter square per degree C. This is given. The overall heat transfer coefficient is given. Area exposed is given. The मतलब room का जो पूरा area overall area है वो भी given है 30 meter squares. And Ti and T out are indoor and outdoor temperature, and T in is also given 25 degrees C. So this is also given 25 degrees C. And okay, sorry, T out is given. I'm really sorry. T out is given 25 degrees C. Okay, so you need to calculate this T in. What is my T in at? So determine the indoor air temperature when the steady operation condition are established. Again, I'm emphasizing on steady operation are established. Unless and until steady operations are achieved, you cannot do calculation. You cannot neglect d by dt is equal to 0. You cannot neglect unless this steady operation has achieved. So this steady operation has achieved. Now you can tell this has been 0, and now you can relate that E in dot minus E in out is equal to 0 now at steady operation. Okay, now you can calculate. Can somebody calculate now? I have done enough. So quickly, can we tell me what is my inside temperature in this generic case? So this is a very generic case. So you guys will tell, अरे सर यहाँ तो आप ट्रिक खेल गए, ये तो Q in तो अपने से दे दिए. नहीं, ये generally experimented होता है, इस तरीके से होता है. So मैं कुछ अपने से नहीं कर रहा हूँ. It's already there in experiments. रूम पे लोग एक्सपेरिमेंट करते हैं रूम डिजाइन करने के लिए. रूम नॉट ओनली रूम्स, योर आपका AC कितने टनेज का लगेगा या फैन कितना लगना चाहिए एक रूम में, वो सब डिजाइन you guys may be able to design in your some thermal system design, इक्विपमेंट डिजाइन होता है, उसमें आप लोग सीख सकते हैं कि कितने वाट का हमें एक्चुअली में इस रूम में जरूरत पड़ेगा, कितने वाट का AC कि रूम हमेशा ठंडा रहे. तो ये सब आप लोग डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द लोड्स, कितने लोग वहाँ पे खड़े रहते हैं उस पर्टिकुलर एरिया में, या फिर हॉस्पिटल ले रहे हैं तो हॉस्पिटल में कितने लोग आते जाते हैं, हाउ मेनी पेशेंट्स आर देयर, हाउ मेनी डॉक्टर्स कम टू पिक्चर, हाउ मेनी इक्विपमेंट्स आर देयर, हाउ मेनी बल्ब्स आर देयर, सभी हीट डिसिपेट कर रहे हैं. सो हाउ मच लोड कैपेसिटी एयर कंडीशन वुड बी फेयर एनफ. तो वो सब चीज़ आप डिज़ाइन कर सकते हैं इन पर्टिकुलर कोर्स. तो वहाँ से ये सब आता है कि ये कितना होगा. So we'll not go into that in detail. So right now we are more concerned about the energy conservation. That is what my concern is in this particular chapter, so to say. Okay, so next calculation में कौन quickly करेंगे? Om, can you do that for me?
Sir, is it 26.11 degrees?
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Om. So you are so good at numericals. Thank you. So बाकी लोग का हो पाया? Anybody else?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, सबका आ गया आंसर सेम?
Yes, sir.
आ गया? Okay.
Yes, sir.
मेरा मिट नहीं रहा. Anyways, maybe next class में हम लोग लेंगे. अभी टाइम हो चुका है. और maybe this question I would make it open and you guys try it in the next class and you guys tell me. You can write this now, and with this we can end this class. After this, you guys have written this. The motion of steel ball in a hemispherical ball of radius h shown in figure to be analyzed. The ball is initially held at highest location, this position, and then released obtain relations for conservation of energy of ball for the cases of frictionless and actual motion. So conservation of energy for this ball you have to calculate, and you have to keep in mind this particular system is not stationary. Why? Your kinetic energy will come into picture and your potential energy will also come into picture. Okay, so this is not stationary, so you have to act accordingly. Okay, so this is an open-ended question from my side for you to do the homework. You will also get this question in the Sengel E book also. Okay, and yeah, that's all. I mean, this would actually end my first second chapter, and we will come to the next chapter. So let me just over 2 minutes, I'll give you the overview what we are going to learn in our third chapter, that is a pure substance. The thing is, why do we actually care about pure substance? So far we have talked about, let's suppose I have a piston, I have a cylinder. I have talked about that the system I'm considering, the control volume I'm considering is a pure substance always. The moment I tell a pure substance, it has some properties, some characteristics, some PV pressure, volume, temperature characteristics. Okay, it and pure substance can also undergo phase changes. Okay, and those things we are going to look into in detailed way in this particular chapter, because the system you are considering in this particular thermodynamic course would be a pure substance. We are not going to deal with not pure substance. So pure substance is just in one such statement. Pure substance are those which are having same chemical composition throughout. Okay, same chemical composition. So that is what we will be focusing throughout this course. Same chemical composition. We're not going to go into the different chemical composition mixed up and then we'll do the thermodynamic analysis. Then my characteristics of the system would change drastically. So we will focus only on pure substance in this particular thermodynamics course. That is what my deal is. Okay, and we'll learn more things. What are the characteristics and what are all sorts of phase changes and all in the particular in this particular chapter. Okay, so with this I want to end this particular lecture, today's lecture. Before going, let me take the attendance. Okay, so any questions, because we are running out of time. So will you send us the PPT? Okay, I will send the PPT, all the PPTs I will send. Okay. Okay, then if you have any questions, we can take up in next class. Okay. And thank you, Phil. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.